The Lakeside Community Planning Group is an elected body that acts in the advisory capacity to the Department of Planning and Land Use, the Planning Commission, the Board of Supervisors, and other county departments. The planning group recommendations are advisory only and are not binding on the County of San Diego. Item number 5, open forum, opportunity to the public to speak on any item that's not on the agenda. There can be no action. However, the item can be referred to county staff or placed on future agenda. Is there anyone on the board with the item?
Yeah.
Okay. Gordon, I saw your hand up. Is there another?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
This relates to the general plan item. One of them you had LS7, which was the Ennis et al. General plan at the north end of Moreno Valley. And this will be a request for rehearing based on new information. What Janice is distributing to members of the group is a response to questions from Kevin Johnson of the county. And particularly at that hearing involving the Ennis et al. General plan amendment, the assertion was made and supported actually by the chair rather considerably that the ag zones, the A70s, etc., no longer exist, that they no longer exist on the property, and if nothing was done, particularly the property owners with the stables would be left in a legal non-conforming situation. Janice questioned whether that was true and then followed up with the questions to county staff. The general plan category changed from 18 to SR4 with the 2020. SR4 is essentially the equivalent of 18. And if you start looking down this list as to what the historic zones were, they were like A70 limited agriculture, A72 general agriculture in those areas, and in fact they still exist and they are in fact the zoning at this time. As a result, the central premise of that hearing was based on incorrect information. The new information I'm providing is that information is incorrect, and it provides a basis for which really should be a reconsideration. However, the Board of Supervisors is to hear this item at the first Wednesday in May, that's the current schedule, and you do not have a meeting before that time. So it is a request for reconsideration on that based on new information, and that is that the presentations and the handling of the item within the hearing was in fact defective because the A70s are there and they do exist. However, to reach the timing, I would have to request that 2 weeks from tonight that you hold a special meeting of the planning group to deal with this. Thank you.
I want to make a comment to your comments. I did not interrupt you, let you go on. I did take that meeting, and those comments, some comments were made. They were not necessarily made by me, but they were supported by the group in general. And I'll review that tape, and if you'd like, I'll send you a copy of it so that you'll have it verbatim, not as you best recollect. I have it recorded. And the request was made by the proponent, and he happens to be here tonight. And so those questions that you had about new information and whatnot, you can ask him, or he can ask you where you got your information and how you came to this result. And I'd like to ask the audience who is here in neighboring properties that were not here at the last meeting, reference to this request by the proponents, and that don't want to see this take place. I have one.
See what took place.
And you live on Moreno?
Yes, I live in the area.
Yes. All of you?
Yes.
Totally opposed to what you did, yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Now, as you know, Will, Gordon, we can't vote on this tonight, but we can refer to the staff and ask and see what they want to do.
Well, remember, you are the staff. And Alan, if I could, Wyatt, if I could, there were clear, we've got the tape and that's fine, but, it was clear with a lot of people here that the presentation was that these people would be in a legal non-conforming. And that was based on the idea that the ag zones had gone away. They're no longer part of the plan. And that was the way you led the meeting. So, I mean, the issue is really pretty clear. It was really done on something that was not correct. and the new information is it is not correct, and it needs to be reheard.
You're here, yeah.
You want people set up?
Just a minute. Just a minute.
Um,
Board first.
Mr. Chairman, if indeed the information as presented to us at the last meeting was incorrect, and we made a decision based on the information just as presented to us, with nothing else to go on, then I would move that we at least re-examine our decision based on, and to find out what exactly the real facts are here, so that we're not using false information to make decisions.
Right. Or other people's personal agenda conflicts with it. Okay.
That was unnecessary.
No, that wasn't necessary.
Really?
That editorial comment, I
I'm
think,
gonna
was
call
really out
order.
of
You
line.
cannot talk out of line unless I call on you.
Okay.
Otherwise you'll have to.
Just know-
You were out of line.
You were out of line.
Yeah, I think you're out of line, sir.
You're out of line, right.
And if we want to talk about a personal agenda, hello, look in the mirror.
I would just say that, based on what's in the minutes, if that's truly representative of the conversation, which it seemed to be, I mean, there was a lot of conversation. Those points are exactly what the minutes are based on that, the argument, and this is contrary to the argument, and I haven't had time to really review it, so I'm pretty much in agreement that it probably needs to be at least re-looked at, and the discussion needs to take place. Then we can have a decision, and that decision will be based on the facts we have.
Yes. I mean, whenever you present new information, even in a court trial, you have to take time, digest it,
Yeah.
come back.
And again, as an advisory committee, I think the recommendation that we make should be based on the evidence, and if that's
Oh, yeah.
fair enough with everybody here.
If some of the evidence was disingenuous, by all means. Yeah, I mean, this is a permanent thing. We change this, it's permanent. And, it has to be fair. And we are our elected body. Let's see. Okay, gentlemen, your name, please?
Mike.
For the record.
Mike, last name Evans Lang.
And your address?
Unusual spelling that I won't bother you with at the moment.
And your address, please?
11771 Topo Lane.
Okay. And you wanted to ask a question or say something?
Well, I was just concerned your remarks seemed flippant to me and unnecessary, because a lot of people here are here because they're concerned about increased industrialization at the north end of the valley. And especially, I guess, this is just a feeling, and I report it just as a feeling. Having now had our view totally ruined by the power link,
That's right.
I feel like the Moreno Valley has taken one for the team already, even though there was a good thought made to keep the lines out of there. And any more industrialization of the valley just would completely ruin the place, in my opinion. And so if there is additional information that has come from the county, which according to the letter we received is true, then I think it's only fair to say it should be reconsidered.
Okay. Are you aware that that's an island in the middle of industrial? Down there at the end? And that when they finish raising and when they finish raising the dam on, at Lake Jenny, or San Vicente, the traffic that's gonna be backed up on Vigilante and down Moreno is gonna be right in front of all these properties. It's gonna change.
I'm not sure, no, can you just clarify for me, I'm not sure what you mean by island? Is
Well,
that where
it's
they-
industrial all around it, and here it is. And we had a map, our map, and it's there. And you got the radio towers,
Yeah,
and then you have these properties right there all the way up to the dam. Okay, so it's all industrial down there, as I see it. Now, other people can see it different.
okay.
As I see it, it looks industrial to me, and it's an industrial, residential area or agricultural in an industrial area.
make a
That's okay.
motion, I make a motion to hold our regularly scheduled second meeting on April 18th, 7 PM here, to put an action item on the agenda, to rehear the LS7A with new information supplied by the county.
I second that.
Isn't that the same?
It's the same thing. Okay.
We have a
That's
different
okay, it
motion.
doesn't matter.
It's not a different
Was that a
motion.
It's not-
motion?
No, it's not a
It
different
wasn't a
motion.
motion.
He didn't make a proposal, he's making my
He made a
proposal.
proposal, he made a motion, she seconded it. All those, well, you know what, folks out there that came here to speak on this, if you could come back 2 weeks from now, at our next meeting, we'll be on the agenda, and we'll get to iron it out, okay? And we'll get to investigate the new information. And before we vote on it, folks, I'm gonna be courteous and let this young man have his 2 cents.
I'm just 82.
You're 82.
For a few years. And
Yes.
I own property on,
Your name and your
All
address.
right, William Myers, MYERS, at 12645 Mid-Ranch Lane, Lakeside,
Yes.
92040. I've owned this property since 1978, Prop 13. I've been around the block a few times. I was on Navajo Community Planners for 13 years. I know what voluntary is all about. This is dead wrong, and whoever voted in favor of it, how many people here now are here to voice opposition on this North Moreno Valley? You got a full crowd here tonight.
We only went on the information that was given to us, and we will review this, the new information, and then we will come back and revisit it. And we will
Why do you think
also
I bought
have
this
to-
property to find out now you want to industrialize the valley and decrease the value of my property even more than it has in the
Okay.
last 3 years?
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, all those in favor of the motion of the second meeting this month?
Milt Cyphert, motion to hold our regularly scheduled meeting on April 18th at 7 PM to reconsider, or
Revisit new
to
information.
rehear LS7A with new information supplied by county. Thank you.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion as proposed, signify. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Motion passed.